Amazon package? Relax. We must have gotten like an Amazon package. My dog always goes crazy whenever there's an Amazon package. So I think he's like barking, moving around at the gate. Anyway, happy Mando Monday, you guys. Hello, and thank you for tuning in. Someone says keep reading. What did you type? It's the dog from Fortnite, right? Did you see him in the gate? My dog going crazy. I think we must have gotten like an Amazon package or something. Anyway, 501st Legion says, "Heyo, hello." Michael Martin says, "How's it going? What's up, man? Good to see you." You're Logan's dad? What? I have no child named Logan. I don't know who Logan is. Do you think Mando will ever be a Jedi? No. Mando will always be a Mando. But I have theories that he could potentially be force sensitive. He's so sensitive. No, I mean like force sensitive. That he could, I think, and the reason why I say that is if you read up on like what a dyad in the force is and some of the capabilities, Element 7 and Dark Choco, they could probably really dig into this and hammer in on that thought. But if you read in on like what it means to be a dyad in the force and the capabilities, you'll be like, oh, maybe Din Djarin actually is. Because those who are in a dyad in the force, where you guys have seen it before, is in The Last Jedi, where Rey and Kylo Ren, they could talk to each other, through the force and kind of do some trippy things, right? In terms of their communication with each other within the force. Not only that, those who are in a dyad in the force, they also have the capability of force healing. When you read up on it and you're like, who else have we seen do that? Grogu can force heal, but who was he with the entire time whenever he did it? He was with Din Djarin, So it makes me wonder, like, now that Din Djarin also has the Darksaber, and the history of the Darksaber, and you think of like Tar Vizsla, he was the one who created the Darksaber many centuries ago. He was this force-wielding Mandalorian. He was force-sensitive. So one has to wonder, could they be easing into that? Is Din Djarin, is the Mandalorian force-sensitive? Not that he'll be a Jedi, but I wonder if he is force-sensitive, and I wonder if we'll see more of that. He may not be, but it would be an interesting thing to see. So anyway, Glitch0 says, I'm death commentary or cinematary. Hello, General Skywalker. Hello, this is the way. Yes, it is, my friend. Hi, DadaLorian. Thanks for the kind words on TikTok. Mr. Drawings, anytime. Thank you for the awesome fan art, dude. I love it. 501st Legion says, hello, General Skywalker, sir. I kidnapped Baby Yoda. I'm a Darth Vader. What? What are you talking about? What? Darth Vader died in the freaking Return of the Jedi. I get asked that question so much. Like, if Darth Vader was on your bounty list, would you go up against him? I mean, I'm like, look, guys, look. First of all, number one, what the hell would I do against Darth Vader? Nothing. I'm not. Look at his son. Look at his son in the last episode of season 2. Look what his son did and what I could do to one, dark trooper. His son took out, a dozen of them, like, putting peanut butter on bread. It was that easy, So what am I going to do to that guy's dad? Nothing, but thankfully he's dead. So I don't have to worry about it. There you go. Anna Perez says, hi. Hello, Anna Perez. Mr. Drawings, what's your favorite Mandalorian episode? Let me drink to that idea. My favorite Mandalorian episode. I get asked that quite a bit. One of them would definitely be the reveal, obviously, of the child. I can't remember if that was episode 1 or not. I don't really remember. It's been so long. But I think just that moment alone was one of my favorite moments. I don't know if that was one of my favorite episodes, but that was one of my favorite moments, was when the child was revealed, because there was so much mystery behind that moment. None of us really knew, like, is this Yoda? Like, when does this show take place? Who is this kid? Did Yoda and Yaddle, you know what I mean? Like, did they get freaky deaky up in the Jedi Temple? None of us really knew what was happening. So it was so much mystery behind that moment. And I think that was such a cool moment to see. But honestly, I hope that mystery stays alive. And a part of me hopes that we don't really find out too much more about Grogu. I like the fact, the same thing when you play on Master Yoda's, you know, kind of character, where you really didn't know much about him, about his species, kind of where he came from, his past. It's kind of the essence of the character, and the beauty of his character is that he is this powerful, interesting mystery, you know, that's just filled with wisdom and several memes. So, you know, I think Grogu should be similar to that. Not to like be this cute knockoff of Yoda, but I think there's something, because he's so similar, I think you still have to play on that same thing of like, yeah, let's not reveal too much. We'll give you little snippets. We'll tell you this and that, but we're not going to dive too deep into the lore of these characters, because I think there's something that's fun and beautiful about being able to just not know so much. You know, too much information can be too much information. You know what I mean? And I think with certain characters, it's just like, you know, it's best to just leave it alone and just tease certain things here and there. I'll steal Baby Yoda. No, you won't. It's the guy from Fortnite. Of course it is. Is Baby Yoda awake? Yeah, of course. Of course he's awake. Does he sleep with his eyes open, right? Am I on the bounty list? Probably. I gotta check the list, man. I wouldn't doubt it. Let me know. Have you guys been liking those videos? I've been posting like a lot of like responses. You know, to, you know, a lot of the lives, you know, at least a lot of the pinned questions I've been posting a lot. So I feel like you guys have been liking them. I've been enjoying making them. What's up? What's up? Hello, hello. Am I on the bounty list? Yeah, literally, I get, these are my questions. Now, here's the thing. Why I've been enjoying that so much is, number one, I get that question the most. So I was like, all right, you know, instead of like not, because I get so many of those questions. So I was like, instead of like not answering those, I want to do a thing where I answer them in a new, refreshing way. And that's what I was testing out, you know, with one of the videos that blew up and a lot of the stuff that I posted today. Someone says, am I live on YouTube? Yes, I am live on YouTube. You're more than welcome to join. I'm on the list. I might be 999 trillion credits. Wow, that's a lot of credits. And if you're worth that much, then I'm definitely hunting you down. That's amazing. That's rent money right there. So yeah, let's go. 501st, number one question asked, am I on the bounty list? Yeah, man, absolutely. And then the number one comment, it's the guy from Fortnite. Am I on the bounty list? Yeah, like those are the things I go to sleep with in my brain, man, all the time. Do you need to get down? You want down? Here, I gotta let my daughter down. You want to sit down on the couch? There you go. Yeah, I'm sitting at the table. So a different setup today. And my daughter's sitting over here on the couch. Sitting at the table, about to go on the couch, watching Baby Shark. So that's what I live with, man. That's what I live with. Yo, is that a Tonner TC777? What? I'm a big fan of you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm one. I don't even know that number. I don't even know what. I don't. Yeah, I'm terrible with math. You're that much credits? I don't care if you're not on my banner list. I'm going to put you on my banner list so I can get those credits. That's great. What does Grogu eat besides frogs? Blue macaroons. And he eats other food in the galaxy, you know? Those are just some of his favorites. Frogs and blue macaroons and blue milk. So, yeah. If I'm the list, I get the... What? What mix do you have? What mix do I have? What are you talking about? I'm on the bounty list. Yeah, see? Every time. Oh, you said what mic? There's a name for it. And but it's a great mic. That's all I can say. It is a great mic. So why don't we go ahead and get started, man? Couple things I want to share. Number one, it is Mando Monday, so you know we're going in. I got a lot to talk about, so let's go ahead and jump in and get right to it. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to read an article to you guys. So my folks on TikTok, you can listen in. You won't be able to see the article unless you got another browser open. So if you guys have another computer and a browser open, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. DadaLorian, same logo. Do it now. Do it now. This is the way. Why am I talking like a Terminator? I was doing that earlier, and it's just engraved in me. So anyway, so I seen some news about Giancarlo Esposito. confirms the Mandalorian return, says season 3 starts filming soon. So I've seen a bunch of people talking about this, and I wanted to read about it. So this is my first time actually touching on it. I wanted to save diving into this until today, since it's Mando Monday. So he says season 3 will begin filming soon. Giancarlo Esposito has confirmed his return in season 3 of The Mandalorian. And better yet, he says the new episodes will soon start filming. In the first 2 seasons of the hit Star Wars show, Esposito has shined in his role as the antagonist, Moff Gideon. For each of the first 2 seasons, he has earned Primetime Emmy Award nominations, which is damn insane. That's crazy. And with plans to return for season 3, he could end up getting even more. Yeah, he got awards for The Boys, and he also got awards for, The Mandalorian. So, man, that dude he's busy. Recently, Esposito was at GalaxyCon rally where he addressed the current status of The Mandalorian season 3. Per WRAL, the Emmy nominee confirmed that we will see more of Moff Gideon in season 3, though he didn't offer any details about the plot. Esposito also mentioned how the Book of Boba Fett, a spin-off series to The Mandalorian, just recently wrapped filming. The actor then suggested that filming season 3 is what's next on the agenda for Star Wars at Disney+. So I think... Oh, yeah. So they just finished shooting Boba Fett, and soon they will start on season 3, Esposito said. So one issue in starting season 3 of The Mandalorian so soon is that lead star Pedro Pascal is on location in Canada filming the HBO series The Last of Us. Now, I'm going to pause there. I don't really see that as an issue. It's not really an issue, depending on how much he shows his face, right? Face reveals, everyone gets excited for that. So depending on how much Din Djarin shows his face, I don't really see that being a big issue. Because the main thing, it's voiceover. So he could be across the world, and as long as he's got a setup somewhere in a studio, he could do his voiceover for that character and send that over to the studio. That's how the world is today. That's how a lot of voiceovers done. If you're a voiceover actor, a lot like myself, you could be at home if you got your own setup. And you know what I mean? So yeah, I think it really depends on how much his face is being shown, because other than that, I mean, you got other stunt actors that could be behind, the suit. If they really want to work harder and faster to get season 3 going, they could, if he's, still doing The Last of Us. So let's finish the article. The good news is that Pedro Pascal's absence on the Mandalorian set doesn't need to hold up filming, as the character is most frequently seen wearing his trademark mask, like I was saying. So Pascal could easily do voiceover work for the character separately with a stand-in as Din Djarin. Oh my God, this is my first time reading this, and I literally just finished the rest of the article with my own thoughts. We never have to wait on Pedro, Esposito noted, shutting down the idea that we'd see more of Pedro unmasked in season 3. I can't speak to that. I mean, I know he'd love to be more off the helmet, but his job is to be in the helmet. You know what I mean? That's the deal. So The Mandalorian was an instant hit when it premiered on Disney Plus in 2019. Developed by Jon Favreau, the series stars Pedro Pascal as a lone bounty hunter who goes on the run after he's hired to retrieve the child, aka Baby Yoda, aka Grogu. The series also stars Esposito, Carl Weathers, Ahmed Abtaki, Katie Sackhoff, Tamira Morrison, Amy Sedaris, Ming-Na Wen, and Mercedes Vernado. Gina Carano played Cara Dune in the first 2 seasons, but she will not be returning for season 3. Meanwhile, the Book of Boba Fett will, but Morrison and Wren in 2 lead roles as Boba Fett and Fennec Shand. It is one of multiple spin-offs of The Mandalorian in development at Disney+, following the smash success of Star Wars series. Also in the works is an Ahsoka series developed by Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, with Rosario Dawson headlining as Ahsoka Tano. The Mando team is also planning a Rangers of the New Republic series to tie into these other shows. Now, I want to pause there, because for a while they said Rangers of Republic was shelved. temporarily because of all the mess that went down with Gina Carano. But I almost feel like, and I've seen other rumors about this, and I hope it's true because you guys know that I'm a simp for Harrison Dula. I really hope this is true. They could, substitute Cara Dune for Harrison Dula because we need to see what's up with her. I want to see what's up with her and her son. Is her son force sensitive like his father, who was a Jedi before him? And she had a pivotal role in the Rebel Alliance. So I want to see what's up with her later down the road. I think that would be necessary, especially since, she could kind of be like this pivotal character, especially since, Leia, really isn't around anymore. And I know during this time, Leia is, you know what I mean? If we're talking about, the time frame of The Mandalorian and where Ahsoka will take place. But, I think, again, there are other pivotal leaders that were involved in the Rebellion Alliance other than Leia Organa, you know what I mean? So it would make sense to bring in someone like, Harrison Dula. I think I would be all for that. And to see her in live action would be great. And I think having her as that pivotal character for Rangers of the New Republic, I think that would be a smart and awesome move. So that's just me. Let me know what you guys think. So while it will appear The Mandalorian will soon start shooting season 3, a release date for season 3 hasn't been set. For now, fans can go back and watch the first 2 seasons of the hit show on Disney+. The Book of Boba Fett is expected to arrive in December 2021. The news comes to us from WRAL Topics, The Mandalorian. So, cool. There's that. So, I'm excited for it, guys. It's big stuff. Hera, man, I can't wait. I think it would be a smart move. I think it'd be really cool for them to bring her in, for this. It's the guy from Fortnite, of course. Hi, who, me? What? How do you get the Mando voice? I don't understand. I'm a voice actor, man. So, voice actor, cosplayer, actor, having all of that stuff under your belt, it helps. So, this is the way. PGC Mando says, hi, 501st. Yeah, man, I think Hero would be a smart idea. I think it would be really cool. I think 501st Legion says, I think here we'll have a 2-episode cameo like in the Bad Batch. You're talking about with Hera. I think she should be like the main kind of character for Rangers of the New Republic. I think that would be really cool. And knowing Dave Filoni, since he's behind it, you better bet you're going to see some more other, like Rebel, Clone Wars characters coming into the live action. And Hera, she's definitely up next. I'm sure we can guarantee it for sure. Kosin finally says, hello, what's up? And again, guys, I'm live on YouTube to my TikTok people. So if you do want to cheat and you want to see my face, you're more than welcome to come over there. Just be sure to subscribe. It helps me out a ton when you guys do. So I am totally grateful for that. Do you remember my TikTok voice video with Grogu? What was the video? There's a lot of videos with Grogu on TikTok. PGC Mando. But maybe you got to remind me. What was the video? So ultimately, man, I have to say this. It's just nice to be in a place where we're getting kind of fish-fed little snippets of things about season 3. What was it, just last week? We had the posters from Comic-Con that came out of, Grogu and Luke Skywalker were just like badass. And, there were 2 Mandalorian posters. So not that said anything about season 3, but it definitely gave light to ideas of what we could potentially expect, which I thought was really badass. Please see my comment. I said scroll up. Wow, that's a bit aggressive, man. Can Misa give Grogu a lightsaber? Absolutely, Darth Jar Jar. I miss Jar Jar Binks. I don't know why. This is the way. Do you know the whole Star Wars storyline? Huh? What? I've seen all the movies, so I can definitely tell you that. So yeah, man, I'm just excited. And reading this article, it gets me even more hyped because it's like we know more is coming. We know we're going to get more updates. And then not only that, there's other things to kind of keep you content in the meantime. Like in September, we got Star Wars Visions. In December, we got the Book of Boba Fett. And on my end of things, in December, I told you guys I starred in this Bo-Katan fan film. Excuse me. And that's going to be coming out in December. That's the release date for it, I believe. So eventually we should be getting a trailer for that. I also did like a gallery type episode, behind the scenes thing that I got to finish editing. So there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming to us, which is very exciting, man. What color? Let's give him, I like the gold. Let's give him a gold lightsaber, the yellow. How much credits you got? Not enough. I need more. How do you get playlists? Oh, I think there should just be a feature where you can make them on your TikTok, if that's what you're asking. So yeah, man, yeah. But anyway, aside from that, very excited for all the Mando season 3 news. Now, there's other things that I wanted to share with you guys. Hyped for Mando season 3? You better know it, man. Of course, I'm super hyped for Mando season 3. It's going to be crazy. And I think we're probably going to go to Mandalore is my guess. I would definitely see. And I think there's going to be some confrontation between Din Djarin and Bo-Katan. So I can't wait to see that. So let's go to Chrome. Yeah, we're going to go to my YouTube channel. I'm not going to share the audio only because I don't want to hear all of it. And then I don't want to get in trouble with copyright stuff. For some reason, I couldn't monetize this video. But anyway, so I'll just talk about it as it plays. So this is the video. It's not like the top-notch animation. Honestly, I did the best that I could using green screen, using royalty-free, animation, and giving you guys an idea for an animated experience of like what a Mandalorian Disneyland ride experience would be like. So this ride is called Escape Maldo Kreese. I just put something together, on my own using what I have. And I thought, it was really fun. Mind you, yes, it's cheesy. It's not the best thing in the world. It's not meant to be, like, oh my God, this is top-notch animation. Great job, DadaLorian. No, it's not meant to be anything like that. This was really meant to be, I just wanted to share an idea. I had an idea on my mind, and I just wanted to get it out there. So I was like, you know what, man, I can use what I have and just share it with you guys and show you what I can do. And it's, if you guys remember that episode where he went to the snow planet, Maldo Kreese, those big, spiders, they were all creepy and stuff. Imagine that's what the ride would be, is the Mandalorian ride, Escape Maldo Kreese. So, and again, my TikTok people, I know you can't see the screen, but if you're on YouTube, if you have another browser, pop up in another browser, join me on YouTube and subscribe. So you can see the live. I'm live over there now. You can see my face and all that jazz. So this is what that ride, this is what that idea is meant to be, is where, if and I'm sure at some point Disneyland will expand, Disney World will expand, and they're going to do something with the Mandalorian. But I wanted to be one of the first to be like, hey, here's an idea of what I would want to see. If you're going through that ride, it's going to be Escape Maldo Kreese. And this is kind of my idea of what it looks like. So, guys, definitely go check out the video. Leave a comment. Give it some love. For my TikTok people, if you haven't subscribed yet to my YouTube channel, please do so. Help me out. My goal is to get to 10K subscribers. We are halfway there. Halfway there. So, a little over halfway there. So, I want to get to 10K by December. I know we can do it, but I need you guys' help. So, yeah, that's the video. So, it was super cool. Cheesy, I know. Cheesy, I know. But it was super fun. And that's the video, man. So the ride looks cool. Thank you. Yeah, I was just like, how cool. And I do voiceover in it, so I voice Mando throughout the ride. So it's on my YouTube channel after the live. Go check it out. You're more than welcome to. There's no monetization on that for some reason. I think maybe it was the background music that I used. I don't think it was royalty free, so whatever, it's fine. Again, I'm not looking, of course I want to make profit off of what I do and what I'm passionate about, but I never go into this like it's all about money. That's not the kind of guy that I am. You know what I mean? Like, I'm passionate about this. I show up every week. I show up every day. You know what I mean? You guys can feel that passion that bleeds out of me in terms of, my love for the fandom and Star Wars. So like that's imminent. So the video, that video, with the animation, it's not monetized. And I'm like, I don't really care. I'm happy that it's just out there because it was an idea that I wanted to play with. And go check it out. Go give it some love. You sound like someone from a TV show I watch. I wonder what character that might be. What TV show? What TV show on Disney Plus could it be that I sound like? You just never know, right? This is the way. That'd be fun if he was like, you sound like Wendy Williams. What? Really? Really? That's the person I sound like? Really? So right. Could you imagine me doing a Wendy Williams impersonation? I'm not doing that, by the way. Doctor Who Mindless? What? It's not there on my profile. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. Dad Fizz says, hello, a new face. What's up, man? Thanks for tuning in. I love seeing so many of you guys coming over from YouTube, man. It's great. I mean, from TikTok coming to YouTube. It's great. May I join the live? I have a few Mando thoughts for you. Probably tomorrow or later in the live. I got a couple things that I want to talk about here, but if you guys do want to join, if you guys do have questions, what are we at? 26. Probably after I get through a few more things. Today's Mando Monday, so I kind of wait till like Tuesdays and Thursdays to do like bigger Q&A things. So if you guys want to join in there, then we can definitely talk theories. But if you guys just have like quick questions, post them in the chat. Or if you do want to chat live, I will offer it up probably later towards the live. So just hang in there for sure. Mr. Drawing says, do you have a Fortnite account? If so, can I add you? You are awesome. Thank you, man. I don't know. I have Fortnite, but I haven't played it in God knows how long, man. It's been a long time. Carl Weezer says, Jimmy Neutrob. What? What are you trying to say? What? Face reveal. How did you get your suit? I made it. Check out my videos on YouTube. I actually really did do a full video that talks about like how I made the entire cosplay. It's really fun, so definitely go and check it out. Be sure to subscribe. Pancakes or waffles? Both. You're missing French toast. French toast is amazing. French toast is amazing, man. Your suit is amazing, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, my profile, the playlist system isn't there. Oh, it may be a thing. You may have to have a certain amount of followers too. I don't know. You gotta look it up, man. I don't know. So another thing that I wanted to share, I think Sabine could be in Mando season 3. I think that would be great, but I feel like, I don't know, for some reason I feel like we're going to see her in, I think Sabine could be a character that we're going to see cross over between the Mandalorian show and Ahsoka. You know what I mean? Obviously with her being a Mandalorian herself, and I feel like we all want to see that moment where like her and Mando team up or fight each other or something. You know, I don't necessarily see why they would fight, but I would want to see them team up. I would want to see them meet in some capacity. And I think Sabine is definitely one of those characters that could cross over in both, which I feel like would be necessary. I think that would be really cool, actually. So, yeah, I'm sure we're going to see her very soon. But I say definitely in Ahsoka, too, because, you know, we already know Ahsoka is looking for Thrawn. And last time we seen Thrawn, he was with Ezra. And then we already know that Ezra and Thrawn have recently just been casted, apparently. So, you know, I definitely see Sabine being one of those characters that will probably bounce into both. And we need to make that romance between Ezra and Sabine canon. Please, Disney, make that official. Carl Weezer, DadaLorian, season 1. Oh, Grogu gets his own show. You never know. Maybe years from now, that'd be really cool. I was hitting Grogu in the video duetting you. You're a terrible person. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Don't blame me. I'm not good at spellings. It's all right, man. I went to public school too. I understand the struggle. Someone says face reveal, face reveal. I am doing a face. I mean, my face is always revealed on YouTube. So if you want to see my face, you're more than welcome to come and join the live there as well. Pop open another browser, TikTok. Pop open another browser. Pop open a can of whoop ass or sparkling water and join me on YouTube as well. Be sure to subscribe, guys. The goal is to get your boy to 10K by December. And I'm going to be doing giveaways once we get there, so help your boy out. Dustin Smith says, subscribed. Also, I think the next trilogy will involve Grogu. Yes, I agree, man. I literally talked about this earlier. I don't know if it was here on YouTube or if it was on TikTok. But I think Grogu is definitely the future of Star Wars, where if you look at his species, particularly as his character, his lifespan, he's going to outlive Din Djarin. He's going to outlive Rey Skywalker, you know? And I think not that he has to become the next Yoda, but I think he's going to become the next pivotal character in terms of the ongoing story, you know, and what they want to do with him. So as long as he survives, you know, which I know he will for sure. I think he's definitely the future of Star Wars, and we're calling it here. Said it here first, guys. Said it here first. Grogu is God. I wouldn't say that, but he's pretty cute. What is the YouTube? DadaLorian. Same name, same logo. Come subscribe. I am live over there right now. You can see my whole chocolate face and everything. We're having a good time. What is the YouTube? DadaLorian. Do you guys not listen to the words that I'm saying? My YouTube channel, it is DadaLorian. Same logo, same name. Go and subscribe. Do it now. Why am I talking like the Terminator? I don't know. What's in this drink? Must be some like testosterone or something. I don't know. Who is your favorite Mando character? Besides myself? Besides Din Djarin? Probably Grogu. I do love Moff Gideon. Moff Gideon's pretty cool. Gideon's pretty cool. Grogu's cool. Yeah, besides Grogu and Dan, I would have to go with Moff Gideon. You know, I always love me a good villain, man. And I feel like there's this interesting, likable thing about Moff Gideon, you know, in his character where, you know, even in that last episode, you know, where we seen him in season 2, there's just these moments where you're like, you want to get inside the head of the guy. Like, you know, it's like you feel like he's not all bad, but you know, he ain't all good either. But it's like, you know, I would love to know more about him. Like, you know, what inspires him? What made him join the Empire? You know, and Giancarlo Esposito, he just plays a badass villain. If you have seen, you know, watching that guy act, coming from Breaking Bad and other things, he's like one of the nicest guys. Like if you see him in like in interviews and stuff, or if you've met him in person, but it is just genius. He's a genius actor to where, you know, he can just be the nicest guy, smiling, you know, just very warm and comforting, and then in an instant, turn it off. You know, like that talent, you know, to really like, you know, reel into a character like that, and for as a viewer to be able to feel that, without him even wearing a mask. You know, he doesn't have to be like Darth Vader and have heavy breathing, but you can still feel intimidated by him, even just when he speaks. I think speaks to his talent. So I think his character and the actor, you know, even more so are just great. So definitely he would be one of my favorite characters for sure too. Do you like Minecraft? I don't hate it, but I don't play it. So yeah, there's that. Bro, I just found out that Grogu is 50, a baby Yoda. Yeah, he is. His like, that's what I was saying. His species, you know, they live for a very long time. So Grogu was around during the time of Order 66. Like we learned that through the episode, you know, with him and Ahsoka. So you know, we learned that he had many masters, and during that time of the Clone Wars, you know, he was hidden away by who we don't know. We don't know yet. But he's probably seen a lot. And I think the interesting thing is he's kind of suppressed himself away from the Force and his capabilities. And the time that he's with Luke, I think he's going to work through his past, and I think he's going to learn to harness his capabilities and kind of work through his fear, because, you know, the fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. So we don't want to see that with Grogu. So, and I think ultimately his time with Luke is going to be him working through his past and harnessing his capabilities. So it's going to be interesting, man. Yoda died at 900. Yeah, to give you guys perspective, man, Yoda was old as fudge. He was old as fudge, man. Yeah, Yoda was like the oldest avocado in the galaxy. And Grogu is no different, you know? So he's literally the definition of a man-child, but he makes it cuter. So there you go. Now, other thing I wanted to share with you guys is a video. So I'm going to turn the background music down just a little bit because I do want to share the volume on this. And we may or may not watch the entire video, but it's something that's been kind of springing around, and that's about The Last Jedi. And there seems to be this trending, I don't want to say toxicity. Maybe it is that, but somehow, you know, The Last Jedi pops up every few months or so, and people are talking about it. And, you know, when the sequels get talked about, there's always something interesting to follow. So let's go to YouTube. I'm going to share the audio So again, my TikTok people, if you have another browser open, feel free to pop that open. There may be moments right now for like a few minutes where I'm a little silent, but I will pause and then converse. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, feel free to pop in on YouTube. That way it's not so awkward. But if you got questions, nonetheless, don't worry, I'm still here. I'm going to do my best to be there with you. But I'm just letting you know we're going to be watching a video here on YouTube. So let's go ahead and play that.
Now streaming on Disney Plus.
Everything good is above the surface. The sky.
Days for 10.
Let's rewind that.
Most movies are referred to as content. I would say that 99% of most movies are pretty bad. I always try to, like, when I say 99%, I mean of mainstream. It really is when you look at, and especially I think one of the best examples.
By the way, title of this video is Why 99% of Movies Today Are Garbage by Chris Gore. So, and The Last Jedi was thrown into that, and I wanted to hear this guy's perspective. I don't know if you guys have ever seen this channel, Film Courage. I thought, it looked pretty interesting, and it kind of goes into the lines of this whole talk about The Last Jedi. So let's watch it.
Of this is the sort of Zack Snyder's Justice League, and how that was, bungled. How that was bungled. How the Star Wars franchise was bungled. How they could not. I mean, to me, I'm the studio executive in charge of Star Wars, and we're making a new Star Wars movie. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to Han, Luke, and Leia in a scene together. And the fact that moment, we will never be able to have that moment in cinema when Carrie Fisher was alive. That to me is, I mean, that's malpractice.
I want to pause there real quick. That I do agree with. I agree with that 100%. So what was said in the video. And I'm assuming everybody can hear, right? You guys can hear the video on YouTube. Let me know. I thought I shared the audio. Just let me know if you guys can hear it. Somebody give me a thumbs up just to let me know. Robbie Appler says hi. What's up, Robbie? I like your last name, Appler. That's cool. It's unique. Anyway, what was just said in this video is that one of the unforgivable things, with the Last Jedi is that we never got that moment where we got to see Han, Leia, and Luke all together when Carrie Fisher was alive. That I 100% agree with. I agree with that. Like, when you look back on the movie, just like, you had one job. You had one job. You got these legends, you know what I mean? The original. And we got to see Han and Leia together, but I'm talking about the trio, man. And we never got to see that. And I think that was unfortunate. We got to see them together separately, in that movie, we got to see Luke and Leia, together in The Last Jedi. You got to see Han and Leia together in The Force Awakens, but none of them together, in one movie in the sequel trilogy. And that's one thing I would say, like, damn, man, that would have been really cool. In their later years. But again, following the story, following the narrative of what's happened, I mean, I know Luke was absent. So, it wasn't like, you're going to get the band back together, but could they have worked the story in a way where we could have? Absolutely. I think that would have been cool. So, but again, as a fan, story-wise, I understand, because that's not what the story was about. Luke was displaced and put himself away for a reason. He was absent, for a reason. So therefore, he's not going to be hanging around his sister and his friends, because of things that have happened throughout time. So I get that. But again, as a fan, yeah, man, that's something I'm like, damn, we never did get to see that. And we never will, unfortunately, so there's that. Let's keep watching. That
studio malpractice. The fact that they had what Zack Snyder's vision, what he was building up to be, and I think seeing the 4-hour final product of what Zack Snyder's Justice League turned out to be, and that they made this garbage thing, Joss Whedon. I mean, it's disheartening to me to see that. I will say on an indie level, I tend to take like a glass half full view, and I tend to always look for the positive when it comes to indie films, because you cannot compare you can't compare an indie movie shot in 12 days for $10,000 to Justice League, whichever version you're talking about. You can't compare, because in my mind, there is no excuse for a studio to fail when they put out a blockbuster movie.
I gotta agree with that, man. I gotta agree with that. I 100% agree with that. And what was said, TikTok? So this guy, he was saying he doesn't, when he looks at an independent movie, right, and a Hollywood blockbuster, you can't really compare them, you know, because an independent movie, you may have something that cost you, you know, $1,200,000, right, to make that movie in total for an independent movie. But if you're talking about a blockbuster movie from Hollywood that cost millions of dollars to make, there's no excuse for why it shouldn't, you know, hit the mark in terms of its storytelling, in terms of its quality, I do agree with that. I agree with that. It's almost like, you know, there's, to give you a better example, hopefully this makes sense. Chris Rock, actor, comedian, he said something like, getting into the lines of like, you know, police brutality, and it was kind of making a joke like, you know, think of it like an airline pilot. You know, when people say there's just a few bad apples. But what if you said that about airline pilots, the way we do about cops? Like, you know, there's good cops out there, but there's just a few bad apples to why there's so much police brutality with certain people. But if we said that about air pilots, think about that. Like there's just a few bad apples with air pilots, and then, you know, crashing airplanes. Like, that's unacceptable. No, that shouldn't even be a standard. If you're hired in as a cop, your job is to protect the people in the community, right? If you're hired in as a flight, you know, as a pilot, your job is to, you know, number one, keep everyone safe and do your job well. You know, there should be no excuses. There should be no error, because lives are at stake, you know, and they're counting on you to keep them safe, right? So the same thing goes for when you think about a Hollywood movie, is that there should be no room for error in the terms of the quality that's being put out. Like, there should be a standard that's like, hey, if we're going to spend millions of dollars on a movie, it should be the best quality. Like, that's top notch. And I think one thing that he said that I did find interesting, and I have to agree with, man, as much as I love a lot of movies that are out today, a lot of times in Hollywood, there's this feeling of like, it feels like content that's just being put out, not necessarily quality films. I would agree with that. Perfect example would be the Dark Knight trilogy. What a beautiful trilogy, man. You know, you can say what you want, but I just remember growing up during that time, even the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, right? Like the hype and the quality of those movies. And you can think of any other trilogy, whatever, right? But you can look back and say, man, I could definitely rewatch those and just enjoy the hell out of it. It's a timeless thing. It's like, it's never going to get old. Today, there are a lot of movies, I would argue, that we get so much content, right, that it almost can feel like just your TikTok page. You're just scrolling through, right? It feels like Facebook or Instagram. You're just scrolling through. There's a lot of content that's out there, but man, is this the best quality in terms of a blockbuster hit? And I think that that's the danger I would agree with that some movies face in terms of Hollywood, where it's like, man, there is a lot of content that's out. But on the flip side of that, if you would have told 10-year-old me years ago that you're going to have an Avengers movie, you're going to have a Justice League movie, you're going to have a Batman versus Superman movie, a new Star Wars sequel trilogy, I would have never believed you. I've been like, a Venom movie, Venom and Carnage, like what? Like, you know, those things were boggling. You know, we wouldn't have believed it, because superhero movies and the way films are today, it's just so different from the way it was, you know, 20 years ago. You know what I mean? So on one end, the content that we are getting, it's pretty cool. You know, being a fan, you know, like of Star Wars, being a fan of comic books, whatever. There's so much good stuff that's out there for everybody to enjoy. But at the same time, there does come that other part where it's like, you know, if there's just so much content that's being put out, is there a piece of the quality? You know, quantity versus quality kind of a thing. Hey, what are you doing down there? So let's keep watching. I digress.
You have no excuse. Your job is to entertain me, not lecture me, not lecture me. Your job is to entertain me. Unfortunately, we live in a time, back in the day when Star Wars was first made, I feel like they were checking one box and it was called fun. And now there's a million boxes that must be checked. There are all sorts of noting and committees and this thing, and this is where you end up with, that last Star Wars movie by J.J. Abrams is unwatchable. I mean, it's garbage. It informs exactly everything wrong with the studio system.
Perfect time to pause there. I do want to say this. So anyone watching the stream here on YouTube, and you're tuning in and you're watching, this video, don't think I'm definitely not bashing the sequel trilogy at all. Like because I enjoy it as well. I do. And this is not what this is meant to be. I don't think. Yeah, man, I don't think The Last Jedi was garbage. I wouldn't go that far. I think this is my personal assessment of the sequel trilogy. I think that with there being so many hands and you got a few different directors that worked on the movies, I think that's where a film, kind of suffers. And another example of that is Justice League. When you had, Josh Whedon, right? He did Justice League versus, Zack Snyder's Justice League, right? Same movie, but if you watched both, you're like, I can see the tone and I can see the tone difference, right? And with that, that's what I'm talking about with the sequel trilogy. I think if you just had, even if it was just Josh Whedon all the way through, from start to finish, or, if it was J.J. Abrams all the way through, start to finish, when you have that one director that's there with you the entire journey, they're able to finish their thought process. They're able to finish the story that they want to tell. And, when you don't allow that story to be fleshed out, then, I think any story is going to be capable of having its errors. I personally don't think that The Last Jedi is unwatchable. I don't agree with that guy's statement at all. When I first seen The Last Jedi, I enjoyed it, but then there were parts that I was just like, man, the most bummed out thing for me, again, was the fact that we never got Luke, Leia, and Han all together in one scene. I felt like that was a missed opportunity. And then aside from that, I really did want Luke to come back. I wanted him to physically come back, not just, as a forced ghost, a forced projection. I really wanted it to be him to face off against Kylo Ren. But then after, having many conversations and conversing with other friends, and getting educated and thinking for myself, not listening to just some other YouTuber or content creator, thinking for myself and rewatching it and looking at the story, it was like, what? Okay. I could get that. I could embrace that. It's really not that bad. And they're damn visually, they are damn good movies. They really are. So when you don't think too hard about it, you enjoy it, man. And again, new generations of kids and young folks are being brought in and enjoying Star Wars through the sequel movies. And then they want to go back and watch the older stuff. And you got to let it be, man. I don't ever want to take away from somebody else's experience, from enjoying Star Wars by saying, well, let me tell you why this is such a bad movie. Like, no, I don't have the energy for that. You know what I mean? So yeah, I could go on and on saying, hey, this is what they could have done. This is what I wish they would have done. But no, that's not what this video is about. It is what it is. It is what it is. So let's continue watching. I gotta watch an ad first. Hopefully I can skip it. Oh, it's Loki. There we go.
It's terrible. So I look at the Justice League debacle, the Star Wars franchise, and how that was mishandled. And I look at that and I just think, how could that have been done? Where was they're ever looking at the fans and what they think? What do the fans think of this stuff? Are they satisfying the fans? Most normal people don't care. Is it entertaining? I'm taking my family, especially how expensive it is.
Okay, I gotta pause there really quick. That moment, I'm on two sides of the fence. I am, because as a creator, and this is even when I make videos, you know, I definitely, I do have to keep in mind, like, hey, what is my audience like? If I'm making a whole bunch of shit that like nobody's gonna want to watch, you know, but it's like I like this, but if that's not what the demographic of my fan base and my following is into, then it's gonna bomb. It's gonna fail, right? Like, why would I make videos about I don't know, My Little Pony, for instance, on my channel when that reaches nobody here, unless you're a brony. When that reaches nobody that's here, you know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't make sense. So in that part of his statement, I agree with, where it's like, you know, when they're making some of these movies, like in Star Wars, for instance, were they thinking about the fans? Were they taking the fans into consideration? And I feel like, yeah, that's the thing you have to do. Now, I feel like there is a dangerous part in that, where fans in today's day and age have so much impact on what's being said. I don't know if this is true. Take my word lightly. This is not gospel, but I'm just saying, I look at Spider-Man No Way Home, right? The movie's supposed to come out in like 4 months, right? And we still haven't even gotten a trailer, you know, for that movie at all. And there's so much expectation and hype from fans about doing this whole multiverse thing with having Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield come back, you know. And you know, I seen a post earlier this week that was like, I think fans should really prepare themselves for like that not being the case. Like, what if it doesn't happen? What if they don't show up in the movie? You know what I mean? Like, it's exciting to think about. Like, hopefully, like, they do go through with that. And there's been rumors of both of those actors being on set. You know, I don't know. We'll see what happens when the movie comes out. But you know, I think again that speaks to the temperature of today's day and age in entertainment. Fans have such an impact on, you know, studios, you know, where they even the Snyder Cut, for instance, man, that was all because of the fans, you know, bitching and complaining. You know, we want the Snyder Cut. Release the Snyder Cut. That was all because of fans. You know what I mean? And I think there's good and there's bad with that, because as an artist, your job is to make the art, right? And release it, whatever's in your heart, whatever you're passionate about, whatever story it is that you want to tell. You want to do that, and you don't want so much, you know, cookie cutter format that it takes away from the artistry, where it's like, hey, I got to have my touch on it. You know, it can't just be this cookie cutter format. Like, I got to be able to create because you're an artist. You know what I mean? But at the same time, you want to be mindful of those you're creating for, you know, and I think that there has to be a balance, like there is in the Force. You know, there has to be a balance. So anyway, let's continue.
Movie theater experience, which is going away, right? The theatrical experience of seeing a movie is going away. You had better entertain me. And I think that whether Hollywood notices it or not, I think that people don't really like politics woven into fairly mainstream, which should be mainstream entertainment experiences. And I think we're seeing
most of the time you want to escape.
It's so unbelievable to me. I think you're leaving money on the table for not giving what the customer is looking for in that experience. But so in my mind, studios, there's no excuse to fail. You have the best people in marketing. You have the most talented actors, craftsmen when it comes to special effects and cinematography, music. There's no excuse for that to fail. And I think part of the failing of Hollywood is that the marketing is so good sometimes. I've argued with friends sometimes that I believe that.
Okay, I got to pause there really quick. I want to finish hearing his thought. But I have to 100% agree with that. I have to 100% agree with that. His statement is that one of the problems with Hollywood is that their marketing is so good sometimes that, you know, it's like clickbait. It really can be like clickbait, you know, on for the movies themselves, where particularly for Star Wars, oh my God, if you go back and watch all of the Star Wars trailers, they are hype. They're amazing. Like, their trailers are so well done, and they reel you in where you're like, damn, like, I cannot wait to see this. Every trailer, I kid you not, go back and watch. Like, after the stream, go back and watch some of the Star Wars trailers, and you will agree with me. You'll see, like, damn, like, that the Star Wars trailers are hype. And then, maybe when the movies come out, you're like, wait a second. I thought they were going to do this, but they didn't do that. And, they made me think this, but this didn't happen. You know what I mean? So the trailers themselves can almost be more hype than some of the movies. I kid you not, but I digress. Let's continue.
That there should be a key art. I mean, there are key art awards, for key movie poster art. I'm a fan of movie poster art. There's a really good documentary about movie poster art called 24 by 36. Check out that documentary. But there should almost be a marketing award. And here's the problem, the conundrum. The marketing for these movies is so good, the product doesn't live up to the marketing. So, I mean, I got chills watching the trailers for The Rise of Skywalker. I was so excited to see that movie. The ninth, I mean, I was a kid when I saw Star Wars. I'm seeing the 9th movie in this saga. I cannot believe how horrible it turned out. It's really, to me, it's malpractice what happened to that franchise. And how
I'm gonna pause there. I don't think it was what am I trying to say here? Where's my thoughts? What am I trying to say? I don't think it was that bad. I really don't. I really don't think it was that bad. That's my personal opinion. I remember when I walked out of The Rise of Skywalker, one of the mistakes I made before going to see the movie, and I've told you guys about this before, and it's a lesson that I've learned. But one of the mistakes that I made was I was listening to a lot of reviewers and opinions from other people, right? That, were talking about the movie, reviewing the movie, so on and so forth. And I listened to their opinion and I let them give me an idea in my head before going to see the movie. So everyone, every YouTuber, every content creator was saying how bad Star Wars was, how bad The Rise of Skywalker was. How did Star Wars get to this point? And I'm like, wow, was it really that bad? And then I don't even want to go see it if it's that bad. Another example of that was the what am I even trying to say? The Fantastic Four. I still haven't seen it yet because I heard so much bad stuff about it. It's on Disney Plus, so one of these days when I'm bored as hell, I'm like, hey, there's nothing new out. I'm gonna pop it on and go give it a watch for myself. But number one, what I'm saying is I played into that narrative, unfortunately, with The Rise of Skywalker when it first came out. I was listening to so many people bashing it, and these are people that I followed, some that I still do, But I what I learned to do was tread carefully, and to have my own opinion, to think for myself after that. Because after I went to go see the movie for myself, I had a friend at the time tell me, he was like, dude, you're listening to all these reviews. He's like, I think you should just go watch it for yourself. Because he watched it. He was like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. He's like, are you a Star Wars fan? I was like, yeah. He was like, do you like good movies? I was like, yeah. He was like, then I think you should just go watch it. Like you'll enjoy it for yourself. He was like, if you don't think too much about it, you drink a beer, eat some popcorn, you'll have a good time. Maybe no alcohol required. That's a quote from Jeremy Johns. But honestly, it was just like, go in, stop expecting so much. And if you can just enjoy the movie for what it is, you'll have a good time. So I went in and I did that. And I was like, I asked my wife, she remembers. I was like, are people getting paid to bash Star Wars? Like, I didn't get what was happening. I didn't get why people were bashing it so hard. Like I went to go see it for myself and I was like, this doesn't seem as bad as people were making it out to sound. Again, if you're an old school fan, I'm sure there are thousands of things you can pick apart and say, well, listen, man, I've seen the change from where it's come from to where it is. And I'm sure. But again, you have to think about the new generation, younger kids that are coming in. I'm not going to spend 10 minutes lecturing you saying this is why it's such a bad movie. Like if that's what got you into Star Wars in the first place. And I've seen so many young people that are like, yeah, my first experience was the sequel trilogy. And then after that, I wanted to go watch all the older stuff because I'm hooked. Don't take that away from them, right? I'm not saying you can't have your own opinion. Absolutely. Your opinion matters, right? And it's valid. But what I'm saying is us as a fandom, we don't have to spend so much time diving in and dissecting why the sequel trilogy is so bad. to you. If you don't like it, that's fine. Move on. Like what you like. Jay-Z. I mean, I don't really listen to his music, but I'm just saying there was a quote, I think, in one of his old songs. He was saying that for a while people were like, man, we miss the old Jay-Z. I don't really like your new stuff. He was like, yeah, you don't like my new music? Go listen to my old music. It's as simple as that. It really is. It really is. And that's the same thing with Star Wars. You don't like the new stuff? Don't watch it. Go watch the old stuff. There you go. And you can be happy. And go read Legends books. Right? So, do you remember me? Because Mason's Land. Duh. Yeah. What's up, Mason? Good to see you, buddy. So, anyway, I wanted to share that. But let's continue.
How it's divided fandom fighting over things that are really irrelevant. I think it's well, not entirely irrelevant. The fact that they're just like, you're seeing people from within that company attack the fans is just like, I hate to see it, because I'm like, nerds are my people. I go to San Diego Comic-Con every year. I have since the 90s gone to San Diego Comic-Con. And so to see people fractured over this is really disheartening.
That is a damn shame, though. I got to pause there. Like, there's been multiple occasions where, you've had, I mean, I don't want to say multiple. I don't want to speak and give you misinformation. One, I can definitely say I thought was very strange was, especially with like Star Wars Theory. You guys know Theory, man. Dope YouTuber. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're on YouTube, you know Star Wars Theory, right? And there was that moment, where he was reacting, to Luke Skywalker, appearing in The Mandalorian, and he teared up. There's been memes about it now, the dude turned. That's how you made it, is when you become a meme, man. So congrats, Star Wars Theory. But when I seen that reaction from him before it blew up into like this comedic meme type of thing, I was right there with him, man. It was like, I remember when I watched that episode, I was jumping out of my seat. My wife was there with me. My daughter was asleep at our old place, and I was jumping up out of my seat. I was losing my mind. I was like, oh my God, they really did it. It's freaking Luke Skywalker. And I couldn't believe it. It was like 1:00 in the morning, and I was losing my shit. So as a fan, emotionally, I remember after seeing that, I was on this emotional high, like for that entire week. Like, I just could not shut up about it. You know what I mean? And for fans, it's impactful, man. It's exciting. And to see somebody from Lucasfilm, somebody that works at Lucasfilm, comment, on a fan's experience and say, you don't have to cry about it. Like, it's just, a show. It's just an episode. Come on, be an adult, whatever. To see somebody, and I'm paraphrasing, you guys can look up the whole ordeal for yourself. But to see somebody from Lucasfilm come out and kind of lash out on a fan like that for being excited about the content is pretty strange. You know what I mean? I think that was just poorly handled. I'm not diving into the whole drama of it, but I think the way it was handled, by Star Wars Theory was great. He was mature about it as always. And again, like what this guy is saying, when you have, big companies that are lashing out on their fans, that it's a strange atmosphere that we live in. So anyway, I digress. Let's continue on.
But when it comes to studio movies, there's no excuse not to fail. Now, when it comes to small indie movies, to make a good movie under those circumstances, without the resources, without the money, without the great people in marketing, without the budget, without all of the best of circumstances, to make an indie movie that like actually you can be touched and moved by, that is something to be said, which is why I've always gravitated toward indie film. It's a miracle when you see something that's watchable out of a studio. But I don't know, like, where are the executives? I mean, other than like maybe coming to mind like a Kevin Feige, which, maybe his best days are behind him. I can't think of a studio executive that is a visionary these days.
Are those the jocks? The nerds are the nerds are the consumers?
Yeah.
They're the jocks?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at like the era, the 70s being the
I gotta pause him here. I don't know if we're gonna finish the entire video. I would have to say, in terms of Star Wars, because I'm not sure how big of a Star Wars fan this guy is, but when it comes to visionaries, it's clear that we have that in the Star Wars fandom. So I don't know if he knows much about like, you know, you know, someone says, "Hey, DadaLorian, what are you drinking?" Oh, it's a Waterloo. It's not beer, I promise. It's Waterloo sparkling water. Anyway, we clearly have that in the fandom. You know, you look at Jon Favreau, you look at Dave Filoni, and I would even say Kathleen Kennedy. You know, them being behind Star Wars, I think they're definitely visionaries. Obviously, you know, they have. I mean, you look at the Mandalorian and what that's done in the fandom. You look at them bringing back Clone Wars and finishing up, you know, with season 7, and the Bad Batch and all these other things, and then, you know, specifically with the Mandalorian, where you have all these other shows that are going to be happening that are spinoffs, you know, and branching off and coming together to make a bigger event. So there's definitely visionaries there. And the fact that we even have Boba Fett back is amazing. You know what I mean? So I would say in the Star Wars fandom, I mean, the executives in Star Wars, yes, there are visionaries there. And the names that I listed, I think they're some of the tops for sure. You know, everyone has their opinions, you know, I'm sure. But me being a big, you know, fan and somebody that's deep into this fandom, and also as a creator, yeah, I can definitely tell you that we do have those visionaries that exist within the executive world, you know, of Star Wars. They're definitely there, and I think we're starting to see the fruits of that, especially with things that have come out, you know, of the Mandalorian and going forward. And you know, just to kind of pause, you know, with this narrative, you know, I've been asked the question before, like, if you could change anything about the Mandalorian, what would it be? And I said absolutely nothing. But, you know, I would just keep the same people that are behind it. Keep them there, because what they're doing, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean? And that speaks a lot to, you know, I would say universally, fans have accepted the Mandalorian pretty well. You know, and to see the other projects that are coming out of that and kind of tying together is very exciting. So to have that creative team, you know, kind of going on, you know, with each of these projects, you know, I'm all for it, man. So I'm not sure, you know, I kind of want to hear a little bit more of what he has to say. Let's I don't know if we'll finish the entire video because I talk a lot. So let's see what else he's saying.
The last great era of American filmmaking. We really are losing that American identity because we become so fragile.
And really quick, I think I may have to end here on TikTok because my phone is low onto the battery. But all my TikTok people, if you want to continue hanging out with me, I'm still live on YouTube, so my phone doesn't completely die. So come join me. Be sure to subscribe. I am still live. I'm just live on YouTube. That way you can hear and see what the hell I'm talking about. And it's not awkward, and you guys aren't just sitting here in the midst of me watching videos and going back and forth. So TikTok people, come join me on YouTube really quick. If you can, be sure to subscribe. I am live over there now. You can see my face and come and hang out and see everything we're doing over there. Much love. I will see you guys soon. I'll be live again later tonight on TikTok. So I will see you guys then. Bye, guys. And I'm still live here on YouTube, guys. I just want to finish up. Can you put this on the charger for me? Thank you. All right, let's listen to what he has to say.
And I think that you know, where's the movie that we all love, without debate, that we've all loved? Exactly. I don't know that there is one. And that's really, you know, I really, and at the end of the day, I miss loving Star Wars. I miss loving it. I used to love it, and now I'm saddened by that franchise. I'm using that as like the best example. There's a lot of other examples. We could talk about the Terminator franchise. We could talk about Star Trek. We can talk about these sort of dead franchises that have sort of lost their way. But when you look at, like, I just saw a documentary called Laddie, Laddi, about Alan Ladd, the visionary studio executive who basically greenlit Star Wars and protected George Lucas. I'm just afraid we're never going to see another George Lucas, right? We're never going to see another real creative visionary that changes the industry because everything is so corporate, you know?
I get what he's saying, but I don't necessarily agree with all of it. Only because here's the thing. Here's the thing about being a visionary. And in the Star Wars fandom, I'm not sure if this guy is really big into, the news and being a part of like the Star Wars world and the fandom. We have visionaries. Like I said, Kathleen Kennedy, Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, visionaries. They are. And don't believe other headlines from other fake YouTubers that talk about fake news. Because if you don't know what somebody's job is, research it. Specifically when it comes to Kathleen Kennedy. Like, that woman, she's been around since, like, the beginning. Like, oh my God. Like, if you look at her track record, if you've enjoyed Star Wars, if you've enjoyed Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, like, if you've enjoyed a lot of those movies, she was, like, doing some executive work behind those things. You got to look at her title, but yeah, man, she's been there from a long time. So, and then to have Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, also, being a part of the vision going forward with Star Wars. Yes, we have visionaries. Now, he said he doesn't think we're going to have another George Lucas. I call bullshit on that because Dave Filoni is the man. George Lucas is his mentor. You know what I mean? And here's the thing. People are hyping up George Lucas like they've loved everything that he's done from original trilogy to now, right? And the prequels. But don't forget, when he was being a creator, you have to be innovative. You have to try new things. And with the prequels, George Lucas definitely tried some new things. And it was not received that well by some of the original trilogy fans. Like, the whole new, the animation, the way the story was, Jar Jar Binks, you name it. Like, there was so much hate for what George Lucas did, with the prequel trilogy. And it's almost as if people forget about that. So when I hear him say like, "Oh, I don't think we're gonna have another George Lucas," I'm like, I don't get the logic behind that. You know what I mean? Because clearly we do have people that are visionaries that are a part of Star Wars in the executive world and that are pushing the brand forward. The fact that we still have so much content happening and coming out for Star Wars speaks to that. Are there moments where sometimes you feel like there is just a lot of content and it doesn't feel, the quality can be missing? Yes, I can agree with that. But I also feel like, being a visionary means you have to try new things. And will that be accepted? And will that be agreed upon around the entire fandom? Not always, but being a visionary means trying new things. And that's exactly what George Lucas is. We've seen that with the prequels. He tried something new, and was that accepted with everyone? No, it wasn't. So my thing is with everyone here is don't forget that. Like, we do have visionaries that are alive and a part of the executive world. So with that statement with him, like, no, I don't necessarily agree with that. Anyway, let's continue on.
It's like, what did Francis Ford Coppola say? Factory filmmaking. That's the age in which we live. There's factory filmmaking, which is a product and content, and then there's up and coming indie filmmakers. And when I talked about checking those boxes earlier, a lot of it is like, is it going to appeal international? I mean, let's be honest. The box office internationally, and especially in China, is much. I'm
going to keep going on, but I do agree with that statement where it's like there's these checkbox, listings for how movies are made today. I would agree with that. Some of it is necessary because but sometimes it can be force fed. Meaning representation. I'm all for it. I love it. It's great. Having female leads. I love it. I'm for it. It's great. But there are moments, and hear me out when I say this. There are moments when you can feel and know the difference when it's authentic and when it's being forced. When it's being forced down your throat, where it's like, yo, like we get it. We're for that. But you don't have to make it so obvious. Like, you don't got to force it down our throats. With certain representation, like for Superman, I'm going to use this as an example. Okay? why do we need to have a black Superman? Why are they trying to change the race? When y'all had a perfect guy who wanted to play the role, talking about Henry Cavill, right? Like, he wanted to play the role, and yet they're trying to reboot and do all this other crazy stuff. And I'm like, the dude is perfect for the role, looks the part, wants to be in the role, but y'all want to, change the race, make a black Superman, reboot it. And I'm just like, for what? You had the guy. And I mean, and it's sad because Henry Cavill even unfollowed Warner Brothers, and DC off of like social media. This was a thing that happened months ago. But I'm just like, I don't get that. Like, why? As a kid watching, and reading comic books and watching superhero movies, I could relate with Superman. I could relate with Spider-Man, and they didn't have to look like me. But it was the character. It was the way the story was told, that it was like, didn't matter who you were. And that's one thing I love about Spider-Man too, is when, Stan Lee, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, when you put that mask on, when Spider-Man puts the mask on, it doesn't matter who you are in the world, you can identify because you don't know who's under that mask, right? But the problems that Peter Parker faces, the things he has to deal with, whether it's doing your homework, paying your rent, whatever, all of us can relate with those things. You know what I mean? And the power and the responsibility thing. And it didn't, he didn't have to look like me for me to relate with that. That's what I mean. It's about the character and the way the story is written. And, I grew up loving those characters and still do. And it's not like they have to look like me for me to relate with them or for me to feel like I'm left out in some way. I never did feel that way. And another example I'll use is the current Masters of the Universe, right? He-Man fans, I watched He-Man a little bit. Not like, I'm not an 80s kid. I'm a 90s kid. But the He-Man I grew up with was on Toonami. There was a cool anime that they had years ago for that, and I absolutely enjoyed it. But here's the thing. Like, I think the Masters of the Universe is catching some heat right now, right? And a lot of that is because you go in Masters of the Universe. It's like, for instance, if it's a Batman show, but you don't have Batman in it at all, and it just focuses on other side characters, you'd be like, what the heck? What is this? This is supposed to be about Batman. It's different. Maybe if it's like Gotham, then sure, you can kind of branch off. And again, I'm not a big He-Man person, so don't crucify me on this. But again, I think Sheila, it's not even She-Ra. It's not even a sister. This is a different, character. It's focusing more on her. Like, she's the main character. And then they kill He-Man off in the first episode. So you got a lot of people like, yo, what is going on? And there are moments, where this is what I'm saying, you guys, bringing it back to what I was saying earlier. There are moments where you understand where it feels authentic, to where that representation is clear. Rather, it's having a female lead. I'm all for it. We need more of that. I think it's great. Representation, where you have Latino and Black and Asian characters being in the mix of things or being the lead in certain projects. I'm all for that, and I approve that. But there are moments, again, like what he's saying here in Hollywood, where it feels like when they make a movie, when they make a show, it's like this checklist. Okay, we got to meet that, we got to do that, we got to do that, and you can tell when it's kind of obvious, when it's like, man, this feels a little forced versus an authentic way of telling a story. Why do you need to change the race of this character in order for me to identify with it? You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to do that. It doesn't change anything. If it doesn't change anything about the character, sure, all for it. But don't do it because you feel like this is gonna help representation in some way. Most people can tell the difference. What time were you going to stream on TikTok? Probably later tonight. It'll be later for sure. I'll let you guys know. Probably like last, I don't know, man. It really depends because I know school is getting back in for a lot of you guys here soon. So I might do like 7. I might do 11. Might do both. You never know. Might do both. All right, back to the video.
Much bigger than the United States, that market, those dollars. So you can't make a movie for the United States anymore. You have to make a movie for the world.
Another Loki ad.
Which is fine, but I think in a way that's sort of diluting our identity as a people, as Americans, as we become more fractured. And it's It's distressing to see.
Ooh, I gotta agree with that. I do agree with that. Damn, he's saying a lot of interesting things. So I agree with that because, when we make a movie, and I think this is part of why the sequel trilogy suffered, I do, holistically, is when you make a movie today in the United States, it's not just here for the United States. It has to do well at the box office in China. It has to do well in Japan, in the Asian market, in other parts of the world, right? So it's not just here, but you have to reach that demographic as well. And I think that there were issues, like even with John Boyega. He came in and talked about, like, I think there's certain posters, even like on Disney Plus, and even posters, from when the sequel trilogy came out, where I don't want to say, you have to look it up. I don't know if it's that he wasn't included or not wanted, but that he wasn't necessarily promoted as well as some of the other characters, like the white characters per se. And I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's that African Americans aren't well received, in terms of a global perspective. But I think that was a messed up thing. They did my boy wrong. And you got to look into that stuff for yourself, guys. I don't know the whole story. I just, I'm going off of things that I've heard. But again, that goes back to that whole narrative of, like, yeah, when we make movies here, it has to do well around the world. So again, there's this checkbox thing that you have to list off. And I think that sometimes there can be danger in that, to say the least. Let's continue.
You see it when it's like, God, I was having a conversation with a friend, because of course the movies are always an ongoing conversation with friends. If you're in my circle, it will come up. And it's like when you look at, like, when certain decisions are organic, or when you see when it's shoehorned in, right? When certain things are shoehorned in, like the trope that's become a trope now of the strong female lead. It's just Ripley was a great character. Like, just write a great character, not try to shoehorn in a type, right? And you kind of know it when you see it. You go, oh, this is cliche. You're trying to shoehorn in a type rather than, like, that's just a great character. You're also talking to a guy who, when I ever play a video game, I always play a female character. I don't know why, I just do that.
As someone who has watched so many movies, as someone who has made their own films, why do you think there's so many bad films that are made?
Well, look, the reason there's so many bad films these days is, I think, well, one, the barrier to entry is much easier, but I also think that that's on an indie level. I see bad indie films too, right? I usually want to help them and say, this was your lesson. Okay, you'll make a better movie in your second movie if you don't quit. But when it comes to studio films, there's just too many notes. There are too many people that it's sort of, the modern day ball player, right? Like, it's just like, it's not about the passion for playing the game. It's not about a passion of, hitting the ball and hearing the roar of the crowd. It's, it's the licensing deals, and it's this and the sales of that and the TV commercials and whatnot.
Easter eggs. Got to throw this in. Yeah. I can see that.
I when I look back at The Player, which came out when I first moved to Los Angeles, Robert Altman's The Player, things haven't changed. The subject has changed. I mean, that was it was erotic thrillers, and it was Julia Roberts and Bruce Willis were being cast in every movie that was pitched in that film. Now it's superhero movies, but it's really too many cooks.
Used to be horror movies. Horror movies was like the
elevated to these positions.
Big thing back in the day. Now it is
are
superhero
good
movies.
Executives
For sure.
But they're not people that know the material, the heart of the material. And when you look at the history of, creatives who really created something, like a George Lucas or a Gene Roddenberry, things begin to lose their way when they get sidelined, right? You really need those. I feel like the modern day Hollywood now, and especially with streaming changing the game, theaters, the survival of theaters being in doubt, really, we may live at a time where maybe the billion-dollar blockbuster may not be back for a long time. And that may end up being a good thing, right? Like, let's let's make.
Eugene
I
Roddenberry
always-
created Star Trek.
I'll joke with a
That's
friend and
what
I'll
that
say my favorite Spider-Man movie is the one where Mary Jane is in peril at the end, which is pretty much all the Spider-Man movies. Or my favorite science fiction movie is the movie where that thing blows up at the end. That's every science fiction movie, right?
Yeah.
Which is why, and The Empire Strikes Back was such a, because it wasn't about we got to do and blow up the thing.
Yeah.
That's boring. It's just creatively bankrupt, which is why Empire Strikes Back holds up. Everybody says, "Oh, it's the best Star Wars movie." I mean, you could argue, but it's because it didn't do
I love Return
thing
of the
that
Jedi.
happened in all the
Probably
other
more,
movies.
but Empire was good too.
And so trying to go against doing that thing, it's or fighting a blue light. There's a lot of fighting a blue light that happens in films. Fighting a blue light, saving the person at the end, the thing that blows up at the end. And I say defy those cliches at all costs. And it's funny because you see, like, there's still people that are able to work within the system and deliver worthwhile films. Christopher Nolan being among them. I've quite admired his
Love
work.
Christopher
although he
Nolan.
has a tendency to make things a little overly complex for no reason, just to brag about how smart he is. But there's always some films, and you'll notice it once I pointed out, where a character in a Christopher Nolan movie will say, "We have to go down the thing and grab the thing to do this and shoot this." It's Captain Narrative, right? Is the person that stops the movie to tell you what's happening in the movie, to explain what's going to happen, so that the audience, the dumb audience, understands. And to me, so you
Right.
got that studio now.
But
studio
good writing
note,
should
and he
just tell you.
compromises
It should
in a
just
way
tell
that
you.
doesn't
Yeah.
completely destroy what he's trying to achieve as a filmmaker. So he's willing to play ball.
It's time to help people customize and
Another
save
ad.
with Liberty
Wonderful.
Mutual.
David, we come out here for the winter to be with you, and it's like you're not even here with us.
There we go.
But I just see, and I think, the most recent example being Zack Snyder's Justice League, and the fact that universe will remain unexplored, unfortunately, which is disheartening. You look at that, and I think part of the reason that
Talking about
Zack
Batman?
Snyder's Justice League was suppressed was because
Snyder's. Gotcha.
once
Yeah,
it
yeah.
came out, and you see these are the choices the studio executives made. They decided to hire Joss Whedon. They decided to change everything about it in exchange for this. Like, it makes them look bad, right? Because what Zack Snyder was trying to do was much, much better.
And they still haven't called him yet
Clearly,
to hire him
whether
back.
you
At least
enjoy
that I
it
know of.
personally
That's
or
crazy.
not, it was objectively
Snyder.
much better than what Joss Whedon ended up coming up with, which was effectively a dumb cartoon, a live-action dumb cartoon. So,
What about adaptations? Do you think has that always been around, or is that something?
adaptations in what sense?
Adaptations of popular books. Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a franchise, but
Well,
we're
I mean,
seeing,
think about it. Here's what's dead is originality. I mean, people forget what George Lucas created in Star Wars was something completely original. I mean, yes, it was influenced by so many things, Westerns, Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers serials and whatnot. But almost nothing that you see nothing that you see in the studio realm, it's all based on something pre-existing material. It's a book, a graphic novel, a comic book, a thing that kind of proved the concept, right?
Yeah.
And then, or a franchise, right? It's a thing that, whether it's Star Wars, Star Trek, whatever, comic book characters that have been around for years. It's very rare that there'll be something that's a wholly original concept.
Now, I want to pause there. I mean, to push the story forward, here's the thing, with Star Wars, you have to be innovative. You absolutely have to. And I get what he's saying in the sense of in today's day and age, everything's so copy and pasted, that there does feel like there's this lack of originality. I can see that, Spider-Man for a perfect example. How in the world have we already had 3 different actors that have played the character in all these different reboots? You know what I mean? And the issues that have gone on with that. There is, I could see what he's saying, where, again, there's this lack of originality in terms of, making movies today. We've already seen it done. I could tell you, there's certain movies that you've seen, you're like, I feel like I've seen this movie already and done better. You know what I mean? You ever seen that one movie? So I would agree with that in that essence. But the part where I disagree is like, yeah, being a Star Wars fan, if we didn't have more stuff coming out, we would have nothing to talk about. Like I wouldn't even be here right now, right? Like if we didn't have the Bad Batch, if we didn't have the Mandalorian, if we didn't have the sequel trilogy, like yeah, I mean, we could talk about the original trilogy as much as we like, but eventually it's like, all right, well, what else we got? You know what I mean? So nice to have these other things. It's nice to say like, hey, there are other things in the fandom for everyone. Whether you're a book reader, whether you play the video games, whatever. It's nice that we do have more content that's coming out, you know, for us to engage with and talk about. So it's at some point, it's like, yeah, you know, you got to push the story forward. But I think that the key thing is like, how do you do that and do it well with quality? You know, so let's continue on.
I kind of, you know, I really, it would be really interesting if studios rolled the dice more to get something like a Joker, what Todd Phillips did with the Joker, right? That Joker film, which was a low budget movie, right? I mean, I chatted with him about it. I'm sure you can look up quotes Todd Phillips talking about how
Joker was good, but I
sort of DC Black series. It would be these sort of one-off.
I gotta say this. Y'all might hate me for it. Joker was good. I don't feel like it was like, it's one of those movies that's like, it's good, but it's depressing at the same time. I'm not going to go back and watch it multiple times kind of thing. Of course, I thought it was great. Like in terms of artistry and the acting, absolutely phenomenal. Joaquin Phoenix did a brilliant job. And eventually, yeah, of course, I want to rewatch it again. But to me, it wasn't like this crazy, big, over-the-top thing. Like, I think the hype for it was good, but again, you know, the lesson that was taught in it, I don't think anything was new. You know, when we're talking about mental health, when we're talking about, you know, a psycho kind of character, you know, per se, you know, I'm like, yeah, you know, I think that the whole lesson about mental health in there, I don't think that was something that was new, that I needed to be taught. Yeah, I know about this. You know what I mean? So, but I still, yeah, Joker was still good, but I just had to say that.
Films that would be stories that didn't really fit with any sort of larger continuity, were like smaller movies where you could explore a part of that universe. And the fact that movie did so well, you know, from being praised from you know, in terms of at award season, I think is proves his concept was the right way to go. And people forget Todd Phillips came from independent film. You know, I knew him back in the day when he was making documentaries. He famously has that Frat House documentary that played Sundance and then never was released. So I think you can find it on YouTube.
Mank.
What's that?
What about Mank?
Mank, yeah. I don't know how you make a Mank, you know? Like, here's the thing. I look at Mank and I'm like, I love Mank, but I went to film school and I've seen Citizen Kane 100 times. And I've read books about Citizen Kane. And one of my favorite DVD commentaries is the one that Roger Ebert did for Citizen Kane. So I know a lot of and I feel like it's almost impossible to watch Mank. You have to watch Citizen Kane. Maybe watch Citizen Kane first and then watch Mank and then rewatch Citizen Kane. But yeah, I think Mank is incredible, you know? But I think Mank is for film nerds. I mean, I think it's brilliant that David Fincher was able to get that film made in the way that he made it. You know, it's sort of a story about the genre. Maybe it's more like 97. We can quibble about the percentages, but you know, stuff leaks through.
I think that's it. Huh. Yeah, interesting. An interesting, you know, video for sure. I'm glad we were able to watch it. And you know, Star Wars is kind of thrown in the midst of that. And I wanted to watch this and talk about it with you guys because I had seen recently just so much, particularly like on TikTok and Twitter. I've seen a lot of people talking about, you know, The Last Jedi and kind of, you know, drama going on, whatever, you know, how it resurfaces. But, you know, again, you know, my stance in all of this is don't be that person that takes away somebody else's joy. Don't be that person today. You could list off all the things you don't like about it, but know that there are other fans that was their entryway into the Star Wars fandom, and then they want to go watch everything else, and then that's the bait that got them hooked. So I don't want to take that away from anyone. And I actually really like The Last Jedi. That's probably one of my favorite movies out of the sequel trilogy. And it's okay for you to not like it. That's totally fine. But I feel like we need to get to a point where we don't spend so much time just bashing the things that we don't like. Because again, I want this place here to be a place where all those opinions are, you feel like you're welcome, and that the door is open for you to share how you feel. Rather you disagree or agree with, however it is that I feel or my viewpoints, that's totally fine. But I want this to be a platform and space, for the fandom to, be able to freely voice your opinions. But at the same time, be mindful that, I think, on one end, you got the old school fans. So be mindful of them. Hey, I could see if you grew up with, you were a kid back in the 70s and you grew up with the original trilogy, you want to be mindful of how they might feel, when it comes to, some of the newer stuff. And it's like, yeah, I could get how, this might be a turnoff, to some folks. I could get it. But then older fans also be mindful of the new kids. Think about it. You were a kid at one point, and your parents probably thought oh my God, you're really into this Star Wars thing. You know what I mean? Be mindful of the kids today and put yourself in their shoes and say, you know what? I remember the days when, I grew up with Star Wars and what got me hooked. And how for some people it wasn't accepted, but for a bigger portion of the world in the fandom, it was, so yeah, everybody love everybody. That's the best I got. It's the best I got, man. Other than that, guys, you've been fantastic. Thank you so much for tuning in today. It's Mando Monday, so I posted a lot on TikTok. Be sure to go and check out the videos there. Yeah, man, I posted quite a bit, as I always do. So be sure to go give those videos some love. I will be live again probably a couple times later today. So on TikTok, it'll be later in the evening. If I can try to do an afternoon thing, I will. We'll see how busy the day goes. But I got to get out of here. You guys have been great. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. And if you want to come hang out and chill in the stream later, I will be live on TikTok later this evening. So I will see you all then. You guys have been great. May the force be with you always. And this is the